Hello! So today I want to film a very simple but colorful eye makeup look for you, and I picked out two palettes that I want to use for this, namely the Lilac You A Lot from Colourpop and the Blue Moon from Colourpop. These are my two favorite monochromatic palettes from Colourpop. I love these shades, and I primarily want to use this kind of periwinkle blue, and I think this pale purplish shade right here. It's more of a lavender really. And I'm going to start out with the blue first. So I'm taking a synthetic brush like this. It's fluffy but flat, and I'm just going to pick up that blue shade on this with the side of the brush, and I'm going to place that on the outer corner, moving from my lash line upwards towards the crease, and just slightly with flicking motions, using a very light hand, flicking it outwards to create a wing. And then I'm just tapping this along the crease, more with the tip of the brush. And I'm going to leave the inner part bare for now because that's where I want to place the purple. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. So from the lash line, with tapping motions, going upwards. And as you can see, I'm stepping back in between, making sure that the wings are even. And I'm just going to build that up. As you can see, since I've already placed my color, I'm raising my eyebrow to really tap that in. Like so. I'm also going to connect this with the outer part of my lower lash line. So I'm picking up the same color with a much smaller, like detailer brush. And I'm just picking up the color with the edge of the brush and going underneath my lashes and tapping that on there, just to connect that with the upper lid. And I'm also using this to sharpen up the edge there. I'm not going very far in because I want this to be very elongating eye shape. And as you can see, I'm extending that line, going upwards from a lower lash line in order to create the angle of the wing. Just slightly softening the lower edge of that shadow by tapping along with the brush. With a clean brush, I just cleaned this on some kitchen paper, just flicking inwards to have a nice gradient effect. Right, I'm just going to move on to the lilac shade. I'm using the same brush from earlier that I used for the blue, and I'm just picking up this color right here with the tip of the brush And I'm going to use this to continue the crease inwards and taking it all the way to the inner corner. I'm raising my eyebrows so I can access that area better, but I'm pretty much just finishing that line, and I'm just going to blend these two colors in together so we have a nice gradient effect. I think I want to use that lighter shade, that more pinky shade on the mobile lid. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm picking that up with the flat side of the brush, like so. Just pick up plenty of product, tap off the excess, make sure there are no creases on the eyes. Wow. And really tap it on there. Yes, I did just blow on my brush because I wanted to blow off all the excess that were on the handle of the brush. Do as I say, not as I do, because you should never blow on your brush. First of all, it's terribly unhygienic. And second of all, when you blow on the brush, some, droplets of spit might end up on the brush, and it will affect the performance of the powdery products because you're now working with a wet brush. I'm going to slightly, with a clean brush, I just wipe this off again, just dragging this along the edge so it's a very even blend all across. I'm also going to build up that lilac shade in here because I want this to really pop. Color payoff should be really intense for this, so I'm just getting more of that lilac shade and really tapping it on there. And also that transition part, and now I'm deepening up that blue, so I'm just taking more of the blue on the brush, and with the tip of the brush I'm really stamping this on the center part of that area so it has a lot of depth of color. I'm wiping off the brush again, and with a more or less clean brush I'm just blending the product that's on the skin outwards. I'm going to take that lilac on the lower lash line as well. I'm taking that brush from earlier again, the smaller one, and picking up the lilac again with the tip of the brush and taking this all along the lower lash line. Well, as far as the lash line goes, but in the inner corner I'm going to put the paler pink shade so that the gradient from the top is mirrored below. Now I'm switching to the pink shade, and I'm adding this to the inner V, connecting it with the top, taking this all across like so. You know what I'm going to do? I think I want to accentuate the outer V a bit with that cool toned lilac in here. I think that might look nice. So I'm taking the same brush, the smaller one, and just tapping in with the tip of the brush, and with a very gentle hand I'm reinforcing that outer edge. Now with flicking motions, very gentle, going inwards so that that outer part is a tiny bit more accentuated, if you will. And now, as most of the color is placed with a more or less clean brush, just dragging this very, very gently along that top edge. And then just going back and forth between the eyes to make sure that it's even. I know that this eye tends to be more hooded, so this always looks a bit more narrow. I'm going to take the blue up a bit more in the crease to even it out, because this is a bit higher. So I'm going back in with the blue, and with my eye completely relaxed, looking straight ahead in the mirror, I'm resting my finger on my face to give my hand some stability. Just gently, with a very light hand, draw in that crease. And now that I've placed it, I'm going back in, raise my eyebrow, making sure that that's sharp and even. Doing the same on the other eye, not taking it further up, just reinforcing that line. I want these two colors to mesh in better, so I'm mixing that blue and the darker lilac on my brush and using that mixture to blend these colors in together. Yeah, that's it. This is a really good trick if you find that two colors don't blend in well together next to each other. Just mix them on your brush and sort of create a transition shade between the two colors. I'm also going to blend this mixture down here. I'm also going to apply some pencil on my waterline. I'm using a pale pink shade from Aden. Okay, just making sure that there's no fallout on my face. Now I'm going to put on mascara, and then I'll be right back. If I used very light eyeshadows like this and quite powdery ones, I like to start with coating my lashes from the top first, just brushing downwards, wiggling, and then I go in as I normally would from underneath. So that's my lashes coated with mascara. I'm debating whether I want to apply falsies as well. These are the more natural ones. These are the more extreme ones. I'm going to go with the more natural ones. So I'm going to put these on and I'll be right back. For this look, I'm going to use the clear duo because I don't want a black line along the lash line. Put some along my lash line and on the falsies, and I'm just letting that dry for a bit. Now I'm dropping this down, placing it in the center, really getting in there like that, and then just tucking in the corners. Since I started applying the glue in the inner corner, that's also where I'm tucking in the corner first. Doing the same on the other eye, and I'll be right back. Right, while that dries down, I'm going to move on to the lips, and I've picked out two lip pencils that I want to use. I want to create sort of a gradient effect with these two shades, so I'm going to use the darker one first in the inner part of my lip. So that's the darker color. And I'm going to use the lighter color to blend this in and accentuate the contour. And I'm going to slightly overdraw my top lip. And I'm not going to overdraw my bottom lip because it's slightly fuller anyway, naturally. And I'm going to put some gloss on top of that. And I have this very pretty peachy shimmery one from Essence right here. I think the key to a plump top lip is to get a tiny bit of the gloss right on that top of the lip line, because that will then catch the light and make the lip look a bit fuller. To finish everything off, I'm just going to run a bit of mascara through my lashes to blend the falsies with the natural lashes. And that's the finished look in its entirety. I think this is super cute. I love pink and blue, especially lavender and periwinkle shades. And I really like this elongated eye shape. I think it's very flattering. And I feel like not a lot of people use that technique where they apply eyeshadow in a very harsh way. I mean, blending is great, blending is wonderful, but to have a really sharp edge and a very distinct shape to the eyeshadow, it's also a look and a technique that is underrepresented, I think. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed that and you've learned a thing or two, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!